What's going on, y'all? It's the Conscious One coming at you. Man, I tell y'all, I learn something new every day. You know, I learn something new every day. Guys, a lot of synchronicities may be happening in you guys' lives. I know it's happening in mine. So 2 days ago, I'm watching this Hulu thing on Hulu. It was called Cloak and Dagger, and this black chick was telling this dude, she was talking about the power of emojis, right? And it was funny because when she mentioned it, I um I thought about it. I said, yeah, there's some power in emojis. So fast forward 2 days later, I find out that these emojis got something to do with summoning demons. They're linked to King Solomon, which means the pact. King Solomon means the pact. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go over a few things with you guys, and then we're gonna look at a quick video. And you got some people be sending me messages, leave links. No, I'm not gonna leave no links. When you go to a party and DJ's there, and he's mixing songs. He don't give you a list of all the songs he's mixing. You just have to know it. I don't get paid to leave links. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't do all that stuff. I'm a YouTube DJ, and that's why I am one of the reasons why I'm shadow banned. It's a number of reasons, but one of the reasons has to do with the fact that knowledge is fragmented, and the last thing people want is people to see my channel and start to put all the pieces together about their life. Whether you talk about health and wellness, spiritual things, whatever. Bad thing is when somebody or groups think they found the truth and demonize everybody else that's outside of that group. Either by, they do it because they're fear-based people, or they just simply lazy to learn about other things. But it's kind of interesting, this King Solomon thing, because, as far as I know, King Solomon was blessed by God, but now this made up character called King Solomon is not even a real person, by the way. It's just mythology, folks. Now we're talking about pacts with the devil by using these emojis. That King Solomon was the one who uh, started using emojis, and how emojis has to do with the Goetia, the 72 Goetias, which has to do with summoning demons. And they said there's 72 emojis. But yeah, knowledge is fragmented, folks. And that's why I'm committed to learning everything. We it's these polarities, and we all have God and the devil in us. So I don't really take this stuff like, oh man, I would never use an emoji again because it's the devil. You know what I'm saying? Because we know most people out here calling out to God are really with the devil, and the people that's being demonized are really the ones that's really with God. If you really want to put things in its perspective like that. But we all have polarities in us. But it's amazing the synchronicities that's been going on in my life. Like, I hear something, then that, 2 days down the road, it'll come into fruition by what I was thinking about, what I heard on some show I was watching. But that black chick in Cloak and Dagger on Hulu, I mean, they really put the emphasis when she had told dude, she was like, emojis are powerful, because she was trying to get this dude to text her. Now, me personally, I don't like texting people or using emojis. I might, I might use a I'm laughing emoji or something like that. But man, if you're a dude, do not use emojis if you're a dude. I'm just gonna put it to you like that. You got dudes, they'll send you emoji. The whole sentences be full of emojis. I'm like, does this person really think I'm supposed to sit there and actually conceptualize all these emojis? And it's the feminine spirit that comes behind me. Now, the person sending these emojis, it may be masculine person sending it to me, but I get a feminine spirit when a dude is sending stuff to my phone with a bunch of emojis. Like, let women do that. Aren't they the ones that are more emotional? So, it's the feminine spirit that comes behind a dude that's sending you a bunch of. It's a very feminine spirit. So if you're a man and you straight, I'm telling you right now, don't be sending other dudes emojis. Just don't do it. Let women do that stuff. I don't even like texting anymore, guys. As far as women texting me, there's only two or three things I can think about doing with a woman, and guess what? Texting ain't one of them. I'm sick of texting. I'm sick of all that stuff. But let me just read this before we look at the video. It says here, a version of the Seal of Solomon from the Lesser Key of Solomon. King Solomon is well known in Western esotericism, esotericism as someone who could bind and control demons. When the Tralaface says the king, he probably means King Solomon, which means the pact. Is the seal. It's a binding contract. They are demons, and according to the Tralaface, because of Solomon, demons aren't supposed to be visible to humans or be able to speak to us. Then it goes on to say how computers allow you to see without seeing. It's funny too, my grandfather said computers are devil. It says here social media allows you to speak without speaking. Says despite Solomon having prevented demons from showing themselves to us or speaking to us, technology and social media allowed them to circumvent the pact or the king or the Solomon. We are metaphorically or literally, if you want to get really schizo, exposing ourselves to demonic influence by using both of them. Giving the effect of technology overuse in social media, this isn't very out there. This isn't a very out there observation. Yep. So guess what, guys? We all been summoning demons. If you're using emojis, you've been summoning demons. All right, let's check out this video.
Greetings, students. Today I want to talk to you about something with which many of you may already be familiar. Emojiis. When I was out walking the commons, I noticed something peculiar about the young people. They were all staring at their telephones. When I inquired as to why they might possibly be doing this, I was shown a long scroll containing words and sigils. These sigils caught my eye. Why scatter these symbols throughout their communications?
We use emojis all the time when we text.
To express something that can't really be expressed through word, I guess. They're fun.
Realizing that the students were completely enthralled to these symbols, with literally no clue why they were using them, I realized I must do some research on my own. The organization behind the proliferation of emojis is called Unicode. This organization approves successive waves of emojis to be released to various platforms. Very good, I thought. But who is Unicode? Their website is very open with this information. Unicode is a consortium of firms that have stakes in the technology industry. There are various tiers of membership, but the top rank is reserved for those major firms with a keen interest in controlling emoji content. Facebook, Google, and the Sultanate of Oman's Religious Affairs Division. This last firm caught my eye. Why would the Sultanate of Oman care about emojis? The King James Bible, 1 Kings chapter 10, verses 1 through 14, describe a deal struck between King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. And when the Queen of Sheba heard the fame of Solomon concerning the name of the Lord, she came to him with hard questions. And Solomon told her all her questions. There was not anything hid from the king which he told her not. This riddling test is very peculiar. The queen has some secret knowledge which she wants to determine if King Solomon has as well, and the result sounds as though he proves to have even greater knowledge than she does. But knowledge concerning what? There is a grimoire that was published around 1650 entitled The Lesser Key of Solomon. The book claims to have been written by King Solomon himself, and the first section, the Ars Goetia, contains instructions for summoning 72 demons. These include magical seals necessary for uttering the demon's name and bringing it to the sorcerer's presence. The physical crafting of these seals is said to be one of the highest magical arts. Verse 10, And she gave the king 120 talents of gold, and of spices very great store, and precious stones. And King Solomon gave unto the Queen of Sheba all her desire, whatsoever she asked, beside that which Solomon gave her of his royal bounty. After the riddling contest, she pays King Solomon quite a hefty sum, and what he gives her in return is shrouded in mystery. Whatsoever she asked, what are we to do with this? Verse 14. Now the weight in gold that came to Solomon in 1 year was 666 talents of gold. Yes, that's right, 666. What is the author trying to tell us here? Is it possible that what King Solomon traded to the Queen of Sheba for 666 talents of gold were a full set of original demonic seals? Let's fast forward to the 20th century. An American archaeologist in his late 20s named Wendell Phillips began an expedition in 1955 to unearth the holdings of the Queen of Sheba. These included diverse archaeological sites in Yemen and, you may have guessed this one already, Oman. The local superstitious tribesmen tried to expel the intruder, eventually going so far as to raid his camp and abduct hostages. But something eventually caused them to reverse course on him. Ultimately, Phillips became the second Westerner ever to become a tribal sheik. Could it be that Phillips uncovered the original seals given to the Queen of Sheba? This would certainly explain what followed after. Just as we have no clear record in our sources of what Solomon gave to the Queen of Sheba, so we do not know what Phillips gave to the Sultan of Oman. But we do know how Phillips was compensated. According to his New York Times obituary, soon after Philip's unearthing of the Queen of Sheba's palace, he was granted enormous concessions by the Omani government, enough to make him the world's largest individual holder of oil concessions at the time. So, what does all of this have to do with emojis? Consider this. Unicode 8 was released the same year the Omani government joined the Unicode Consortium. It is this version known as the occult edition of Unicode, in which the zodiacal signs were implemented. Moreover, in Unicode 8, there are 72 face core emojis. 72. The same number as the number of demonic powers in the Ars Goetia. One side note here, the actual version of the emojis published by the Unicode is this sigillistic black and white version, which is much closer to the original seals than the cartoonized, fully rendered versions available on devices. And so, what is the occult content of Unicode 8? My belief is that the Omani government's Religious Affairs Division created correspondences between, on the one hand, each of the Goetic seals in their possession from Phillips, and on the other hand, the 72 emojis which had been developed partially under their own influence. And so, by comparing the Goetic seals to the emojis, one can see where the Omani government had their influence and what the correspondences actually are. Dizzy face is Marvus. Face with look of triumph is Baal. Nerd face is Malthus, so on and so forth. This sequence of 72 emojis is followed by a coda signifying the end of a magical sequence, 3 symbols of death, 2 symbols of alienation, and 1 symbol of a soulless automaton. The meaning of this 3-2-1 sequence is that the occult communication ends there. This is reinforced in 2 ways. First, the countdown of 3-2-1 is a sequence indicating completion and winding down. Second is the sequence of death, alienation, automatation. This is literally an illustration of a spirit leaving a body, but here represents the spiritual content leaving the corpus of the text. The text, of course, being Unicode 8. What is most unnerving here is the degree to which all of this was done in plain sight. Now we've got them by their noses. The world is an open text for us to read. We have identified the major processes of this conspiracy. But what I want to know is, what have they been doing with this power? And how has it been affecting us? I will be covering this information in my next video. I would like to thank the Canarsie Board of Community Standards for their help in researching this topic, as well as all of my colleagues at Miskatonic University. Until next time, may the unit lie watch over us all.
Wow, very interesting, folks. So if you're using emojis, you're summoning demons. I wonder is this gonna stop y'all from using emojis? I doubt it. I doubt it. I'm just telling you, if you're a dude, stop using emojis. If you're a dude, that's all I gotta say. Women gonna do what women do. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's really amazing, folks. It's really amazing where this synchronicity been coming up in my life. But yeah, just again getting back to that Cloak and Dagger on Hulu episode show called Cloak and Dagger on Hulu. I mean, they got so much esoteric stuff, but just the way that I can't get over the way that black chick was telling that black because he didn't want to text her, and the black girl, she was like, kind of like pushing him, like read my emojis, like pay attention to my emojis. There's a lot of power in them. It was just the way she said it. I'm gonna have to do a video so y'all can see it. I'm gonna do a video on that later on. But when she said it that way, it had really struck something in my nerve because I started thinking about emojis. But here I am 2 days later, and I wasn't even looking for this, guys. I was actually listening to Infinite Plane Radio, and he brought up this thing about emojis of King Solomon. And I said, man, that done married me that black chick that I heard on Hulu the other day. You know what I'm saying? And then now I run into this. These synchronicities. I mean, man, that be the way these synchronicities coming into my world. It's just amazing, you know. And all you have to do really is just pay attention. But I just want to show y'all that, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.